Agency will now come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Iacoca, can you verify this meeting's been advertised for the court?
Yes. Good try.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Diadio?
Here.
Mr. Newton?
Here.
Mr. Conti?
Here.
Ms. Fisher?
Here.
Councilwoman Kilpatrick?
Here.
Is he coming tonight?
My understanding is that Mr. Ambrosio will be coming tonight.
Oh, okay. I thought he was taken off for a day, but this wasn't it?
I
You didn't talk to him?
didn't talk to him.
John?
Is he here? or-
I spoke to him about 20 to 4, and he told me to have the projector put, I wanted to know if he wanted a projector for tonight, and he told me to have it put here. He led me to believe he was coming.
Yeah, I can speak to him on the phone. Okay. First order of business is approval of minutes from prior meetings held on April 25th, 2019. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion that we approve the prior minutes.
A second.
I can't
I thought
say.
she was gonna say roll.
I don't, can she make the motion as a, hear me out, okay?
No, I'm just trying to.
As a, she's a consultant, not a member, right? A member
No,
must
no,
make
no, she's a
the,
member.
okay. Just double checking.
Okay. Doesn't
Don't
have to double
stop
check.
me before
I'm
I
just trying to understand what you're talking about, what you're saying.
All right, let's move
Okay.
on. You're seconding, or is that it?
Yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Diadio?
Yes.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kilpatrick?
Yes.
Next order of business, 6A, authorization for payment of bills non-NL, that's A through I. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion we approve the bills, what did you say, A through I? Thank you. You need a second?
Second.
Second. Yes, go ahead. Yes. Second.
Seconded by Mr. Conti. Roll call, please.
Mr. Diadio?
Yes.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kilpatrick?
Yes.
Next order of business, 6B, authorization for payment of bills NL related non-escrow to be paid when funds are available, and that's J and K. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Diadio?
Yes.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kilpatrick?
Yes.
Next order of business, 6C, authorization for payment of bills to be paid from escrow accounts. That's L through V as in Victor. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Diadio?
Yes.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kilpatrick?
Yes.
Pending matters, waterfront redevelopment project, Mr. Sandoval.
Yes, I'm pleased to report that the work on the site with regard to the remediation and the soil surcharging is continuing to move. They are moving a lot of dirt out there, and that's preparing the site, which is great. It's great to see that's kind of progress. Also, we're starting to see an increase in the developer reviewing plans with us. Okay, so they're preparing drafts, bringing them in for comment to go through and look at the water and the sewer and other infrastructure, and that is stepping up. So they are committed and they're working for it. That's all I have on the waterfront redevelopment project.
I have nothing to add.
Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing none. CIS River Road COA, review and approve site plan and planning board application. Mr. Sandoval.
Bring them up. You know, Mark, it might be good to have the actual subdivision plan up there as the first item.
That's
so
what we're,
everybody
yeah, that's what we were
understands.
just saying, that's what we were just suggesting, because we'll make sure we have that, everybody has the same understanding.
You know, where can best put it up here and see. Bear with me here. I can probably hold it better and talk about what we got here, what we have here. What I have here, if I may, start talking about this parcel.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, let's do that. My name is Mark Salina. I'm with Mesa Consulting. We're the project engineers for both the CIS project as well as the PRC project.
You're licensed in the state of New Jersey.
I am licensed engineer, been with Mesa Consulting over 20 years. Have been for the planning board here in town on some other matters.
Okay.
Okay. What I have here before you is the entire SERA tract at the end of Cedarville Boulevard. And what I have shown in multiple colors to represent the different tracks as we have the uses proposed. You may or may not know the entire track's just approximately 62 acres. The different colors shown on this tract is the pink site we have is the 9.2 acres that we have carved out for the affordable housing project. The blue lot closer to the road is what was set aside for the senior housing project with PRC. The remaining greenish area would be the lots, or the remainder land left over that wouldn't be accompanied or used for the two respective site plans. To access the affordable housing lot, we proposed a boulevard coming in from near the end of the cul-de-sac to extend into the affordable housing lot itself. That would be a public road dedicated to the borough of Sayreville, if I'm correct. So my confusion before the meeting was that we had submitted plans and proposed that to create a major subdivision, creating these, well, actually there's 2 lots associated with the senior housing development, so there'll be 2, 3, 4, 5 separate lots, as well as a public right-of-way to provide access to both the senior housing and the affordable housing developments. Sites, I don't know how much more you want to hear about it.
Well, I think that you can get into your specific site, but this has been developed over the past 3 years, okay? And when I say 3 years, because 3 years, it's been much longer, but PRC has renewed their efforts in moving this forward, and when the COA issue came up last year, okay, the pink site was decided to go through and be the affordable housing site. And these lines are representative of discussions that we've had previously with the board on how to subdivide it so that we could effectuate the COA project as well as the senior project. So in essence, the pink is going to be the COA project, the blue is the senior project, the green is going to remain in SERA's ownership. Okay, that's all we need on
How
that.
big is that green part?
The larger parcel's 44 acres, the smaller parcel's 3.1. And they're just separated because what we had proposed to the DEP was we had submitted some applications for a letter of interpretation and flood hazard area. And we just included the area that would be in and around the development, so we had included a little extra land and created on a separate lot. There is not any anticipation of it being part of the development. As a matter of fact, under the redevelopment plan, this area is set aside for residential use. The actual boundaries of the plan itself are approximate or consistent with what we're showing here for the affordable housing and the senior housing. If you look at the plan in detail, there's also another little area in between here which is set aside for residential use, but because of the way the project laid out, we didn't create a separate lot on that because of the various environmental restrictions on the wetlands and floodplains and whatnot. So with us, we've created the lot layout as proposed.
Anybody have any questions on the
Where's Main
7th?
Street?
Right along the bottom of
Okay,
the,
all right, okay, just wanna make
plan.
sure that's what it is.
And nothing coming off of Main Street into there, right?
Right,
no.
No.
because there's the parcel that, the bus right on, comes right on Main Street, though, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the one on the left, blue, and the one also
Yeah,
on the
right, yeah.
pink.
yeah.
Just a water main.
Any questions?
For the main water.
No, I understand
Okay.
Maybe jumping ahead a little bit, and I'm sure others will get into it, but if we were to look at the configuration of the boulevard and the affordable housing lot, the pink lot, in its developed state, we have this proposed rendering, River Road redevelopment for the place at Sayreville. So what you see is the proposed boulevard coming in off of Sayreville Boulevard, and then 5 buildings, well, there's 6 buildings altogether, 5 residential buildings, 5 3-story residential buildings for 88 affordable units, and then there's 1 additional manager's unit or a superintendent's unit, so for a total of 89 units. And then the 6th building is a clubhouse building for some meeting rooms and management offices. It lays out very nicely with circulation and parking, and in addition to it, there's a little public garden proposed as well as a tot lot. I wish I could say it's 100% conforming with the ordinance. I don't know if that's something that we've discussed, but the redevelopment plan calls for a 50-foot perimeter buffer. We were not able to provide that buffer along the perimeter there to the south. We do meet it from, as far as the building setback, there are no buildings within the 50-foot setback. However, at the very southeastern end of the development there, we have parking that encroaches into it. The things that we're doing as we're starting to develop the site plan is there's a nice change in grade, so that parking lot would sit approximately 10 feet below those residential lots in front on Main Street to help buffer it. We're proposing a fence and some landscaping there as we develop the site plan, but to help offset the variance that we're going to need there.
And the buffer, as it was originally intended, was primarily for buildings, the building setback. But the way that it's worded could be interpreted otherwise, so that is going to have to be a clarification that we make when we go through and send it to the planning board.
Any questions, comments? Do you have anything else?
We have some architectural renderings. I'm not prepared to speak about, but I know someone here is.
So, last month when I was here, I made the presentation about the architecture. That hasn't changed. This is the drawing that we showed you at the last meeting with just some identifying materials that were put on it for the planning board submission. And the only other thing that I have that I didn't show you at the last meeting is the drawing of the elevation of the clubhouse. I think I talked a little bit about this building, which contains our management offices, some maintenance space, and our community meeting room. And the community meeting room is really for programmed activities. I don't recall if I said that or not, but since I didn't have the plan to talk about it, it's not open like a living room, like maybe in a senior community where people can go hang out. This is really meant to be for organized and program activities that we run or that residents want to run. I know I talked about some of those activities, after school reading, the garden that Mark mentioned. That'll be we would set up an actual community garden, so that we bring in an outside firm to get people inspired to participate and volunteer and get the kids active in it and that kind of thing. So so that's the only rendering that I didn't show at the last meeting, but that's a building that we've done. It's tried and true. We've done this in a couple of other communities. So, and I'll just say I worked really closely with the engineer over the past month to get actual footprints that work, that are with the architecture, to get all 88 units, to get adequate circulation, to get enough parking, to get the community amenities that we were trying to get. And I can tell you, we pushed and pushed and pushed, and that buffer was the sacrifice that we had to make to get to the 88 units in a product that I think everybody would be really most pleased about.
This isn't for the senior part.
No, this is
No,
just for
just
our
one
88,
thing,
for
yeah.
the place at Saraville.
And that's the place at Saraville.
Yes, that's our company's relatively new branding for our non-age restricted communities. One of the things that I think sets us apart, I don't need to continue to sell us to you since you already bought it, but one of the things that sets us apart is we do like to identify our properties. We're proud of our properties. We're not hiding from them. We're not afraid for people to call us on the phone. And so branding of our communities is something that's important. And we just recently started opening in next month in Plainsboro with the place at Plainsboro.
Now, when you put up your facilities, is you gonna have any fencing around it or anything? Because there's wetlands around there, so I'm just, probably
Generally,
something
I
else
would
almost
say
like us.
generally not. If there's things like Mark mentioned, we'll have a retaining wall along the back, and we would put up some screening in the form of a
Right,
fence
yeah.
along that. We don't have a need to actually fence in our communities. So
Is that near Acapulco Pond?
It's not immediately adjacent to
But
it,
it's
but it's a
within
question
proximity
of
what you
what
could-
you consider near. It's
Yeah, right,
probably
yeah.
300-400 feet away
Yeah,
from.
yeah, right, exactly.
So, from the standpoint, this, normally, a housing project like this would not go through and
Right, yeah.
have fencing around
Okay.
it. If when they get to the planning board, it's determined that there has to be,
Yeah.
for one reason or another, during the presentation, that would be discussed, but,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
possibly outside of this right away, if we wanted to add some additional screening or some buffering, maybe in the form of a fence along this area.
But that's probably the only location that
Right,
would
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good spot for it. I mean, the other side, I wouldn't
Right,
think so,
right,
but
yeah.
behind it.
But that's what I was talking about, really, about
Yeah.
where wetlands, where water is.
Seems
because
like a good
that's
idea.
a facility that kids go down there and hang out, go
Right.
swimming and do other things back there right now, so.
Yeah, we would probably put it up more as a deterrent rather than
Right,
a,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a situation from the standpoint where that'll be something that would be addressed at the planning board.
Okay.
But there isn't an absolute requirement for
No,
it because the water's considerably far away.
Right.
Okay, anything else?
Yes, for purposes of documenting this in the resolution, so the site plan is prepared by Major Consulting, dated May 23rd. Is that correct?
is that the date on your engineering drawings that you submitted? I have them right
I can confirm
It says
that.
23rd on the bottom left-hand corner.
Yes.
Mine has a good sign.
here. I think it is May 23rd, I'm pretty sure.
No, site plan, that was.
That's dated May 23rd, but I think your actual site plan is dated May 13th.
Correct. It was submitted with the application May 13th.
May 13th? And the architectural elevation, that's by the Barton Partners?
That's by Barton Partners, yes.
That's the one below it.
Right,
the
entitled The Place at Saraville,
The place at Saraville, yes.
And I have-
And these are the submission drawings.
and that's dated May 23rd?
No.
April 23rd.
April 23rd. Got it. Thank you.
Can you refresh my memory, how many parking spots were in there? Did we have that? I don't remember. Oh, so fixed on the 88 units?
I know that there's at least,
Two.
At
No.
least two.
no, there isn't.
Right now, there's 201 proposed, there would be 188 required. I do have to say that we're working through the details of the site plan as we speak, and we're gonna exceed the required parking. I just can't guarantee it's gonna be 201 at this point in time. We will far exceed the redevelopment plan calls to meet the residential site improvement requirements, which we will most certainly meet. But we do want to trim a few out and in particular, to try to enhance the setback there, and where we can lose a few, we're going to do to enhance the site plan and deal with some grading issues we have on the site as well.
Okay, thank you.
Recognize we have them under a very short time period to go through and be able to make the submissions, so that we are recognizing that there may be some minor changes between the time that we see the plans and the planning board, but any changes that they do make, they will submit to us for review, and we will advise the board. But in order to go through and be able to file for their funding, okay, they need to go through and get this before the planning board immediately.
Mhm.
And we submitted for preliminary.
Very good, thank you.
Anything else? Seeing none, move on to, are you guys done, or I guess you're done?
Yeah,
Okay.
unless you have
Thank
other
you.
questions.
No other questions, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I think that you have a draft resolution in front of you, so later when we get into that appropriate time in the meeting, it'd be appropriate to go through and move this project so that they can get to the planning board.
Okay, PRC River Road.
PRC River Road, are you going to make any presentation tonight on that? I know that we're still working on the redevelopment agreement.
Correct. Chairman, we received a draft redevelopment agreement. We're just in the beginning of negotiations, so that likely will be for the June meeting.
You saw that change I asked for?
No, but I'll follow up with you and make sure.
Page 4, paragraph 4. Page wasn't up?
Go over it next.
When you pull it up in the PDF, it's not working from the top. Okay, there's nothing on that, we can move on. Okay. Oh, actually, the change was the leaf, right? Yeah, leaf and trees.
That's leaf, okay.
Leaf Industries?
Just, we have a proposed settlement agreement, which I'll go over with the commissioners in executive session.
All right, resolution providing for holding a private executive meeting pertaining to litigation, personnel, contract negotiations, and property acquisition and sale. Can I have a motion to go into close?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
I want to apologize to the agency for being late. I had a situation at home with my wife that.
I apologize to all those.
Come on. Vertically challenged. I have a sticker for my car.
Joe, please. Okay, next order of business under new business. Resolution approving the 2019 budget of Sayreville Economic and Redevelopment Agency.
Annual budget and capital budget for the Sayreville Economic and Redevelopment Agency for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2019 and ending December 31st, 2019 has been presented before the governing body of the Sayreville Economic and Redevelopment Agency at its open public meeting of May 23rd, 2019.
Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Diario?
Yes.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton?
Yes.
And the second one, related to the budget, Mr. Chairman, whereas the submission of the proposed budget for the Cerebral Economic and Development Agency to the State of New Jersey Division of Local Government Services for the fiscal year beginning on January 1st, 2019, ending December 31st, 2019, has been delayed based on receiving documentation from the county as to the loan due and payable, and that is the delay. We have estimated the costs for that, and we are submitting the budget based on that.
Is that a separate resolution?
Separate resolution. Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Diadio?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kilpatrick?
Yes.
Next resolution. So was that's not B, is that B?
No, that's A minus.
1A.
No, it's just say A1. A1.
A1.
So now we have B.
All right. Do you want to read that in?
Okay, resolution authorizing execution of redevelopment agreement with Community Investment Strategies regarding the construction of 100% affordable housing in the River Road redevelopment area.
Chairman, before there's a motion and a second, I want to be sure we capture the two small changes that we need to make on page 14 in paragraph 4.4C. We're crossing out the words upon request, and the sentence will just start, the redeveloper shall submit to SERA a quarterly written report. And the only other change is on page 16 in paragraph 5.1A1. We crossed out the word minor, and it'll just read SERA obtaining subdivision approval. On the, and that's it.
Can I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Diadio?
Yes.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kilpatrick?
Yes.
C, resolution authorizing site plan and planning board application, CIS River Road, COA.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, resolution of the Federal Economic and Redevelopment Agency approving site plan and architectural plans for affordable housing project and authorizing the agency to apply for minors, we're striking out minor, we're just saying
For
for subdivision approval, sir.
And Chairman, we're inserting in that the architectural plans prepared by Mazur Consulting dated, plans by Mazur Consulting dated May 13th, 2019, captioned "The Place at Saraville," and architecturals by Barton Partners dated April 13th, 2019. And I will get a clean resolution to our executive director with those insertions.
Motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Diadio?
Yes.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kilpatrick?
Yes.
D, resolution authorizing the execution of settlement agreement with Leap Industries LLC and Jersey Cooperage.
Commissioners, after many years of litigation, it looks like we have reached a resolution with regard to the litigation with Leaf and Jersey Cooperage. The one change that was requested is on page 4, Roman numeral 4, that after it says roadworthy and properly licensed, we insert the words "and registered." So with those changes, if someone wants to move the approval.
Motion, please.
Make a motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Diadio?
Yes.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kilpatrick?
Yes.
Who was the second on that, please?
Vicky.
Vicky.
Vicky?
Right, and mover?
Rosette.
Rosette.
Thank you.
Thank you.
E, resolution authorizing contract with appraiser for appraisal of billboard.
Chairman, that'll be ready for next month. We're not ready to act on that this month.
Okay. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing none, can I have a motion to open up to the public?
Make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Anyone in the public wish to speak? Have a motion to close the public portion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Thank you.